All right, good afternoon. We are now on the record for the non-stenographic video deposition of Demisha Hawkins. Today's date is Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. This is a case of Demisha Hawkins Enterprise, or sorry, D. Hawkins Enterprise, LLC versus Michael Miller, DBA, M&M Construction Services. Case number is 20-GCV-270446 in the court of in the 240th Judicial District of Texas, Fort Bend County. My name is Mario Villarreal, and I'm a registered notary with the state of Texas and this deposition officer for today's deposition. Objections by the rules?
Yes, if that's, Ms. Acuna, is objection form is fine with us. Well, this is not a federal case, so yeah, form, yes, by the rules.
All right, thank you. Is it agreed by counsel that today's deposition is being done using remote using Zoom?
Yes. Yes.
All right. The witness has been spotlighted. Are there any stipulations to put on the record?
No, there's not.
All right. Would all counsel,
Not at this time.
all right, thank you. Would all counsel please state your name and state your appearance in this matter?
Yes, UA Lewis. I'm sorry for the plaintiffs. I apologize. Ms. Acuna, I'm sorry.
Fine. Acuna Alfado for the plaintiff. D. Hawkins Enterprise LLC.
Okay, and I'm UA Lewis for the defendant, Michael Miller, DBA, M&M Construction.
Thank you. Can I please have the witness please state your name and spell it for the record?
Demisha Hawkins, spelled capital D, lowercase e, space, capital M as in Mary, I-S-H-A, last name Hawkins, H-A-W-K-I-N-S.
Thank you. Are you alone or is somebody with you right now?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
My counsel is here representing me.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Ma'am, will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may proceed.
Okay. How would you like to be referred to? Is Ms. Hawkins appropriate for you?
Ms. Hawkins is fine.
Okay. Ms. Hawkins, have you had your deposition taken before?
I've been at depositions. I haven't had a deposition.
So you've never participated in a deposition yourself before, is that correct, as a witness?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you were notified that this is going to be a Zoom deposition, is that correct?
Say that again.
You were notified in advance that this would be a Zoom deposition, not an in-person deposition, correct?
I was notified there would be a deposition in the office, and then they later on informed me about the Zoom.
All right, because I would I would prefer that you have your mask taken off, and I don't know if you have it on because your attorney there in the room does not have her mask on. But that was the whole purpose of the Zoom deposition, to avoid the video being distorted with a mask.
You can hear me, right?
We'd like to see your facial expressions. But sure, yes. For clarification, I can hear you. We would like to see your face.
Okay, I'd like to keep my mask on.
Okay, I understand that, but we've asked for video deposition so that we can see your face expressions. This is not a stenographic deposition, and that is intentional so that we can see your facial expressions as you are answering the question. So I understand that you'd like to have your mask on, but I would ask that if your concern is contracting COVID, is that the reason why you have your mask on?
I'm wearing it for precautions.
I'm sorry?
It's two people, I'm wearing this for precautions. We have a variant. There are two people in the room. It doesn't matter whether the person has a mask on or not. You need to have your mask on.
Okay. Ms. Hawkins, I thank you for that. So you said there are two people in the room. Who else is in the room with you?
My counsel, ma'am.
What do you mean by your counsel? Can you?
You can answer.
Acuna is here. My attorney.
And who else?
There's no one else.
Now, you just testified under oath. You're under oath, remember. You're under oath. You just said that there were two people in the room there. Who else is in the room with you besides your Ms. Acuna?
Objection. Non responsive. There's two people, including herself.
Okay, so I'm sorry, that was confusing. And let's be clear. I just want to be clear about a few things here. I have 6 hours to depose you here today. I don't need to use all 6 hours, but it's all going to depend on how you answer the questions and how basic you are and how difficult it is for me to ask you the questions, but I'm entitled to 6 hours with you here today.
Objection, non-responsive.
Okay, thank you. And that's noted, but your objections are form. You're not allowed speaking objections under the state rules. It's form. And I would appreciate it if you, if we conduct this pursuant to the rules. So there's only yourself as well as Ms. Acuna in the room. Ms. Acuna, is there a different room that you can participate from, seeing that your client is concerned that she may catch a variant from you?
Let me see. I don't know if that'll be possible.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't want the feedback.
We're having a lot of audio issues as well, so I was gonna suggest if we could have everybody in different rooms just for the fact of the audio being clear, and we're able to obtain a clean record as well.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, let me figure it out. I can go.
Right now, we're getting a lot of feedback, and
But it's because, yeah, I think it'll be fine. If I think it's because she had her mic on at the same time, but I think it'll be fine. Can we go off the record, please?
Yes, ma'am. The time is 1:29. We're now off the record. All right, the time is 1:30. We're back on the record.
Okay, Ms. Hawkins, you stated that I think where we left off was that you had never actually participated in a deposition before. Is that correct? As a witness? You're on mute. You can just press, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, and so what I want to do is just kind of go over some ground rules. It's great that you've participated, so at least you know some part of how a deposition works. But essentially, what we're going to need from you are, you're under oath, subject to the penalty of perjury, and in being under oath, subject to the penalty of perjury, you are agreeing to attest truthfully. Is there anything that would prohibit you from testifying truthfully here today, as far as any medication or anything of that nature? Or will you be able to testify truthfully today?
No. There's no prohibition.
Okay. And as far as when you speak, although there's not a stenographer, as I stated earlier, this is a video deposition, we would ask that you actually speak your words versus nods and head shakes. So what we would like, if you just kind of avoid also the uh-uhs and uh-huhs, that would be helpful to us also in the event that we either the defendant or your attorneys decide to have this deposition transcribed in the future. We want it to be accurate. So we would just ask that you actually use yes and no's versus head nods and shakes and uh-huhs and uh-uhs. And you will hear objections from your counsel during the deposition. That does not mean that you do not answer the question. Your attorney will need to object along the way so that she can preserve certain things for the court record. It's not for you to not answer the question unless she actually asks you not to answer the question for some sort of privilege purpose. So we would ask you to continue to answer all questions unless you're instructed not to by your attorney. Do you understand that?
Understood.
What did you do to prepare today for your deposition?
I read through my old notes.
Okay. What do you mean by you read by your old notes? What old notes?
I went by information that I had.
I'm sorry. You went by information that you had? Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what information do you have?
Information about what happened with this case.
Okay. Can you tell me about what you found in the notes that you read about the information from this case?
That's information that I went over.
Okay. So tell me about the information that you went over.
It's information regarding this case and it being submitted to the council.
Okay. And how many pages of notes do you have?
Not pages.
In what form is it?
It's not a form.
So you said it's not pages, it's not a form.
Bullet information that I went through.
Okay, and you said it's bullet information that you went through?
Bullet statements. Little bitty statements to jog your memory.
Okay, and how are they written on a piece of paper? Is what I guess I'm.
No, ma'am.
Are they on a computer program?
No, ma'am.
How are they? In what form are they written?
On a board at home, ma'am.
Okay, what type of board do you have at home that you've written these notes on?
Just a little bitty erasable marker board.
Okay, and about how large is it?
It's not large at all.
Okay, so about what does that mean? About how large is it?
Probably the size of this little mini iPad that I'm on.
Okay.
Or it's not even that large. It's a small one.
Okay. How long have you had those notes?
I hadn't had them long. I went back through my memory.
Okay. And then when did you create that bullet point note?
Just a couple of days ago.
Okay. And so you just use your memory to generate this bullet point memory on a I guess what you're describing is like a dry erase board. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where is it located at? Is it hanging up anywhere?
It's not hanging up. As a matter of fact, the information is gone.
Okay. So you had it at one time and you went over that to prepare for your deposition today. And now the information is gone. Is that correct?
It's not there. It's gone. Okay. I use it for different things.
Oh, I understand. Okay. That's why it's dry erase, so you can reuse it, right? Okay.
Yes,
all right. So you wrote it. How many bullet points were there?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you said it was for your attorney. How did you get that over to your counsel?
I didn't say it was for my attorney. I said it was for me to refresh my memory.
Okay. And do you have any memory problems at all?
Say that again?
Do you have any issues with your memory at all? Do you have like any memory disability or anything like that?
No, ma'am. It's just been so long ago that this initially occurred.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm not, I'm sorry. I am not asking you really about what occurred. I'm just asking you about the notes that you said you just went over the other day, in the last few days in preparation for your deposition. So just to be clear, that's the period I'm speaking of. And I just want to know if you don't have any memory issues, you can say yes or no.
No memory issues.
Okay. All right. Have you been diagnosed with any disability as far as hearing is concerned?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now I understand that. Well, let me just go ahead and continue. Ms. Hawkins, are you from Houston?
I'm not originally from Houston.
Okay, where are you from?
East Texas.
Where in East Texas?
Tyler, Longview area.
Okay. And what's the name? Is it a smaller city in the area?
What's the relevance?
Is it a smaller city in the area?
There are multiple small cities in East Texas.
I'm fully aware, and there are a lot, like you said, there are many. So when you say Tyler,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There are smaller cities. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you say you're from Tyler Longview area, I know that's not a city. So I'm asking you the name of the city that you're from, if that's okay. And again, you have 6 hours here, so we can do this. We can
take as long as you want, Ms. Lewis.
Okay.
Objection form.
I'm at home. So what city are you from?
I said Tyler Longview.
That's not a city in Texas as far as I'm
Longview.
That's 2 different cities.
Okay.
So what city are you from, Ms. Hawkins?
Tyler Longview.
So you're not answering the question. Ms. Hawkins, is that correct?
I'm answering the question. Objection form. She's answering the question.
Is it your testimony under oath, under the penalty of perjury, that you are from a city called Tyler Longview, Texas?
I am from Tyler in Longview, Texas.
Ms. Hawkins, how old are you? When is your birthday?
I was born in the month of February, 71.
Okay, and when did you start your company, DHAWKINS Enterprise LLC?
Around December 2015.
Did you operate under a different name at any time?
DBA.
You operated as a DBA prior?
Yes.
Okay, and were you DHAWKINS Enterprise as a DBA?
No.
Okay, what was the name of the company as a DBA?
Big Biz Properties.
I'm sorry?
Big Biz Properties.
Okay, do you still operate Big Biz Properties?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that, has Big Biz Properties, sorry, let me. How do I spell Big Biz Properties?
Say that again?
How do you spell Big Biz Properties? Is it just like it sounds, B-I-G-B-I-Z?
No,
Okay. How do I spell?
B-I-G,
Uh-huh.
B-I-Z, properties, I-E-S at the end.
Okay. And so properties is, you said that it's a S at the end, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you own that company with anyone else, or are you the sole owner of that property?
Sole owner.
And what about D. Hawkins Enterprise? Are you the sole owner of D. Hawkins?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it okay, or is it okay if I call your company D. Hawkins for this deposition, and we mean D. Hawkins Enterprise LLC?
You broke up a little bit, Ms. Lewis.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it okay if I refer to your business as D.
I didn't hear
Hawkins?
what you said.
Can you hear me now? Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, I see on the transcript that it's, I don't know I see here on the transcript that my, it's being recorded. I think they're having a connection issue over on that end.
Can y'all hear us?
Hear you.
Okay. Ms. Hawkins, I asked if it's okay if I refer to your business as D. Hawkins, and you understand that I mean D. Hawkins Enterprises LLC.
Yes.
Ms. Hawkins, have you been known by any other name besides Demisha Hawkins?
D. Hawkins.
Just D. Hawkins, and
No, ma'am. I've been known by multiple names.
what other names have you been known by?
I can't recall them all.
You had so many names, you can't even recall them all. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so can you tell me what other names you've been known by, Ms. Hawkins?
Say that again.
Please tell me what other names you've been known by.
D. Hawkins, D.Y. Hawkins. I can't recall all the rest. That's what I have knowledge of. And my first name and my last name.
Has Hawkins always been your last name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hawkins. Were you able to review the notice for deposition?
Yes.
Okay. And what I'm going to do is pull it up. And do I have the screen share available? Okay. And I want you to take a look at this notice. All right, and can you see it?
No, ma'am.
Let me know when you guys are able to see this.
I can see it, Ms. Lewis.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hawkins, as a part of this notice, I asked you to bring some evidence here with you. And do you see here at the bottom of the notice?
Objection.
I'd like to go off the record so they can fix the audio.
Sorry.
They didn't ask to go off the record, and I don't know what's going on. Ms. Hawkins, I've asked you a question. You're not allowed to confer with your attorney in the middle of the question. Please answer the question.
I believe she's on mute.
I'm here.
So you testified that you got a copy of the deposition, correct?
I did. I don't recall seeing that information at the very bottom.
Okay. But you do see that it's bold, correct?
Say that again?
You see that that information is bolded, correct?
I do see it.
Okay. So you did not bring any evidence of a contract with Mr. Miller and individually, correct?
No,
Nor with Eminem, Construction, correct?
no,
What about any evidence of the limitation of the use of the Home Depot account prior to giving him the access to the account? Did you bring any evidence of that?
say that again?
Did you bring any evidence relating to the limitations on the use of the Home Depot account prior to giving him the use of the account?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What about the timeframe to pay any balances prior to giving him the use of the account?
Say that again?
You didn't bring any evidence with you here today, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's just start there. Okay. What about the topics in the notice? Did you go over the topics?
Say that again?
There are topics in the notice as well. Did you go over the topics?
I looked at them briefly.
Okay. And so you'll have no problem going over any of the topics here, is that correct?
I can't speak to it.
Okay. All right. Ms. Hawkins, can you tell me, is there a written contract between yourself and Mr. Miller?
No, ma'am.
Is there a written contract between yourself, and when I say yourself, I mean D. Hawkins as well. Do you have a written contract with Eminem Construction?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have anything in writing that states the limitations that you have placed on Mr. Miller regarding the use of the card?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any evidence as it relates to limitations on the amount you could use the card for?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, do you have anything in writing relating to the limitations on the amount of money that was available for him to use on the card prior to giving him the actual access to the use of the card?
No, there is the information that you already have, which is a text message.
Okay, and so do you have anything other than the text message that shows that you gave him any type of limit on use the card?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And when I say card, you understand that to mean the Home Depot card, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how many accounts do you have?
What is your relevance on the question?
You don't get to ask me questions. You have to answer the question, or we will go to the judge, and the judge will compel you to come back here and do this again, and you'll have to pay for it. So, yeah, if you don't mind, I'm trying to be respectful here. I'm not trying to disrespect you in any way. I know.
Miss
that-
Lewis, I
And
have
I know-
2 cards. I have 2 Home Depot cards, a
Okay,
personal and a business.
Thank you. Okay. And can you tell me of the 2 cards, which one that you allow Mr. Miller to use?
The business card.
Okay. And did you ever allow him to use the personal Home Depot card?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And your personal Home Depot card, is that, do you use that for business use or for DHAWKINS?
I use that personal card for everything.
Okay. And as far as the business card, do you use that for your personal use?
I've never used that business card.
Okay. And what is the limit on the business card?
25,000.
Okay.
Was.
All right. And what about your personal card? Is there a limit?
I think about 15. Objection form.
And when you say 15, you mean 15,000, is that correct?
What relevance?
Again, you can't do that, Ms. Hawkins.
Okay, I'm not gonna answer that question.
It's okay, because you can come back and
I'm not coming.
Objection form.
yeah, but you weren't coming to this one either, remember? The judge has control over this. And you'll lose your
Judge
case.
does have control, Ms. Lewis. So let's
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, so you need to answer the question.
Let's move on, Ms. Lewis.
You don't control this, Ms. Hawkins. I'm trying to be respectful again.
I'm trying to be respectful, Ms. Lewis.
I don't think you are. I don't think that you are. And I don't
Can we go on a break if that's possible?
Yeah, sure. We as soon as she answers the question, I just want a clarification. When she says 15, does she mean 1,000? That's all I asked.
15,000.
Thank you. We can go on break.
Thank you.
All right, the time is 1:54. We're now off the record. The time is 2 o'clock. We're back on the record.
Okay.
Ms. Hawkins, do you have any other Home Depot cards other than your business with the $25,000 limit and your personal?
No, ma'am.
Okay. When did you open your personal account with Home Depot?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And you're not sure when you open your business account either, is that correct?
I don't recall when.
Okay.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt, but we have a Miss Kenya Hill Dominique Rawls trying to join the meeting.
Yeah, she's my co-counsel.
Okay, I'll let her in. Sorry, you may proceed.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Hawkins, you don't know when the business account was open, is that true?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you know why you opened your business Home Depot account?
To utilize it for business.
Okay. So is it safe to say that you opened it after you started your business?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay. And which business would we be referring to? Would that be Big Biz or would that be DHAWKINS?
I I can't remember, but I incorporated. So that's the change. It was
Okay.
since I got my business started, but I incorporated. But if it had, I don't know, I can't remember what's on. I think it's DHAWKINS. So it had to be after the LLC and after the company was incorporated.
Okay, and when you say incorporated, you don't mean that you started a corporation. You just mean that you structured your business as a limited liability company. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you do not have another business that's DHAWKINS Incorporated, correct?
DHAWKINS, LLC.
Okay. And so the Home Depot card is has only been used for DHAWKINS LLC. Is that correct?
The Home Depot card had a zero balance on it. So it's never, the DHAWKINS business account was never used until Mr. Miller accessed it.
Okay. And can you tell us why that is? Why did you not ever use that Home Depot card for your business until Mr. Miller? You gave Mr. Miller the use of the card.
It kind of cut out on her side. Can you ask your question?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Can you tell me why you never used the business Home Depot card for DHAWKINS until you gave Mr. Miller the use of the card?
I didn't use the business card because I had no reason. My limits on my Home Depot card were sufficient enough.
Okay. And so you had essentially just been kind of using the personal card for your use that you needed for your business and did not have a need for the additional amount up until you gave the access to Mr. Miller. Is that correct?
Objection form.
Okay. So tell me why you opened the business card.
Say that again.
Can you tell me why you opened the business card?
Objection form.
What's your objection? Is the form?
Yes.
What's your objection?
You already asked her this question, and you're asking her a second time. But she already answered.
Okay. Okay. You can go ahead and answer, Ms. Hawkins.
I got the Home Depot card, the business Home Depot card for my business.
Okay. How long did you have the business card open before you gave Mr. Miller the use?
I don't recall. It had been open for probably months.
It had been open for, you said, months? If I'm looking at the transcript here, it says 3 months. Did you say 3 months or months?
I didn't say 3 months. I said months. Months.
Okay. About how many months would you say?
I don't know, ma'am. I don't recall how many months. It had been open for a while.
Okay. Do you remember the date that you gave Mr. Miller access to the account?
Not the date.
Okay. And when you first opened the account, did you give Mr. Miller, I'm sorry, I apologize. When you first opened the account, what was the limit on the account at that time?
I don't recall.
Objection form. You already asked that question.
No, I actually asked what was the limit on the account, not when it was started, but she said she doesn't recall, so that's fine. But do you know whether you've ever gotten the limit increase on that business account?
I have.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. When did you get the amount increased on the business account?
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Okay. Do you know it was during the time that Mr. Miller had the use or not? Or was it after?
No.
Okay. So you got the increase on the card. How much did you get the increase for? What's the difference?
I don't recall the amount.
Okay. So what is the most that your card has had a limit of, the highest amount?
The 25,000.
Okay. So prior to the 25,000, there was a lower amount, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that amount?
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall why you increased the limit to 25,000?
I always try to increase the limits on my cards.
Okay, but why? The question is
To
why?
have more accessibility, to be able to do what I need to do if it presents itself. If a business opportunity presents itself.
Okay. And so is there any other reason why you elected to try to get the card to be the increase of the limit?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you ever used the business Home Depot card?
Objection form, sir.
You can answer, Ms. Hawkins.
Okay, I've already answered this question and I told you I have never used that card.
Okay. So as we sit here today, just to be clear, you have not used the card ever, correct?
Never, ever.
Okay. Yet you got the limits increased and you don't know when or why, I'm sorry, you don't know when.
I don't recall when.
How did you go about getting the increase on the card? Is it something you wrote in to do, called in to do, applied online? Tell me how you went about getting the increase on the business Home Depot card.
You can call in, you can apply online.
I understand. How did you go about getting the increase of the business card for your Home Depot account?
I think I called in and then I applied online.
Okay. So have you had, I'm sorry, I didn't let you finish.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. And that was one of the ground rules I did not go over. If I am interrupting you and you want to finish something, I'm happy to allow you to. Just let me know if you were not finished. And if you could allow me to finish my question, that would be helpful as well for the record going forward when the jury sees this. So how many times have you had the card increase?
I don't
balance,
recall.
I'm sorry.
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you know whether you've requested an increase more than once?
More than once.
Okay. And do you know the date that you asked for the increase?
No, ma'am.
Do you know if it was during the time Mr. Miller had custody of the card and access?
No, ma'am.
You don't know?
There's no increase that occurred with him that I remember. I don't think so.
Okay. So while he had the custody of the card and your permission to use the card, it was while the access was only to the original amount that Home Depot approved you for. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. And I didn't give him permission to use the card except for the amount that was specified. That's why we're here today.
Okay. And I understand that, and we'll get to that for sure. But So you only gave him a one-time use of the card. Is that your testimony?
Initially, one-time use of the card.
Okay. And at the time that you gave him the one-time use of the card, you were operating under the original balance limits, correct? You had not sought an increase yet, correct?
It wasn't an increase, it was a zero balance.
I said balance limit.
It's a zero balance. He asked you, you know, I don't know. I really don't understand your question.
Okay, so I'll try to clarify it and ask it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Your card did have a limit, I think that we've established, of $25,000. I think that's the highest it's been. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but that was not the limit at the time that you gave him the access to the card. Is that correct?
I don't recall. I mean, what I'm saying, I don't think so. I think that I got now my limit increases by the time he got that card. So there's no limit you could put on that card like that. You can't say what somebody can use on that card like that. They have to.
Right,
they
I understand.
They have to shut the card down.
I understand. But as far as when I say limit, just to clarify, I mean the limit that Home Depot gave you, D. Hawkins, on the card, not what you gave Mr. Miller.
If we weren't at the
Depot,
maximum of 25, if we weren't at the maximum of 25, I don't recall. But if we were very close. So nobody's used the card except for Mr. Miller.
Okay. And so it's your testimony that Mr. Miller has used $25,000?
That's not my testimony.
Or being close to it? Is that what you mean?
I didn't say that. That's what the limit is on the card. $25,000 limit.
Okay. And you stated that you were close to the limit. I just want to be clear on what you mean by that.
Okay, what I'm stating is like if it wasn't $25,000 credit limit, it was close to that, maybe 20,000. I don't recall when, but there was nothing on the card at all. And I think that card was at 25,000 when he got it or close to it. So it still wasn't a minimal amount, okay?
Okay. So what is the balance today?
About $3,200.
Okay. And so you have been making your own payments from your own pocket towards the card, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what is the amount that Mr. Miller charged to the card?
Mr. Miller charged in total. I mean, what's the question? I don't know. I think he was upward of like 15,000 by the time he got done, and he made some type of payments.
Okay. So it's your understanding or your belief that he charged as much as a total from the time that you gave him control of the card or access to the card of around 15,000, but he made some payment, so that is not what the amount was or was reflected at the time that you terminated the access. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. And that's where the $13,000 comes from? The roughly $13,000 that you've been referencing comes from, is that correct?
The 13,000, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is it 13,000 exactly?
It's Not 13,000 exactly. It was around 13,000 something. It was almost 14,000. And there was
Okay,
residual charges hanging around.
okay. And when you say residual charges, what do you mean by that?
Pending charges.
I'm sorry?
Pending charges.
Okay, so there were additional charges that had not settled yet that he had made, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so by the time that you ended access with him and you got the pending charges settled, what was the total that he had actually charged to your account?
I think in the text it was 13,200 and something. It was 13,400 and then 13,200. Those are returns that were made before the card got terminated.
Okay. And when you say returns, can you tell us what you mean by returns?
Returns are actually items that you purchase in the store and you take them back for store credit or credit back to the card.
Okay. And Ms. Hawkins, did you get a bill every month from Home Depot on your business card?
I did.
And how did that bill come to you? Was it in the mail? Was it online?
I think it was online and in the mail. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can't remember.
And were you able to review the charges each month on the bill when they came through?
I didn't look at it every month because I knew I wasn't using the card.
Okay. Were these charges accumulated by Mr. Miller in a 1 month period?
No, probably like a month and a half.
Okay. And how did you find out that he had accumulated the charges?
I think I had time to look through the mail and I looked at the business account and I saw I don't know, maybe $5,000 or $6,000 at that time. And I think I did reach out to him to communicate with him about it.
Okay. And what was his response when you reached out to him about the total that you noticed?
I think he said he was sorry and that he would straighten it out.
Okay. Did he make any payments towards that amount?
Yes, he did.
And when I say that amount, I mean the first amount at the time when you discovered he had charged roughly $5,000 to $6,000.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Do you know how much he paid towards that?
I don't remember.
Okay. And at that time, did you terminate access?
No, I did not.
Okay. Why didn't you?
Because I told him that I saw that and I needed him to resolve it, and he stated that he would.
Okay. And
we discussed that it wasn't agreed upon.
Okay. Did you discuss with him the period of time he should take to remedy that total balance at that time?
I told him he needed to go ahead and resolve it. There's not a time frame like months, days, or whatever. I said, you need to go ahead and get this done. I think in 2 weeks, I told him he needed to resolve it.
When did you find out that he did not resolve it yet?
I don't really recall when. I mean, I just remember opening I remember checking it and it was stating what the balance was.
Okay. And when you discovered what the balance was and that he had not resolved it yet, what was your response at that time?
I called him back and I said, you charge more. He said he was paying it down, but he charged more. And I said, that's not what we agreed upon.
Okay.
And he stated.
And what else did he state after that? When you told him that that's not what you agreed upon?
He basically stated that he was going to make good on it, and he stated that he was working on a major project, and once he got done with that, he would straighten it out, or beforehand, he's making payments. That's what he was stating.
Okay, and so as far as the next statement that came out, did you were you able to see whether or not he actually straightened it out like he said he would, according to your testimony?
He did not.
Okay. Did you terminate his access at that time?
I think I remember reaching out to him and talking to him, and sorry, I remember reaching out. The discussion went as he said he was going to pay it, give him time to, and I explained to him that it doesn't work like that.
Okay. And did you know how to go about terminating his access, like maybe changing the card number or getting a new card?
I think in speaking with him, after I spoke with him that very last time, I called customer service, and she was stating that there was still being charges made on the card, like the card wasn't going down. At that time, I asked for the card to be terminated.
Okay. And how many months had passed at that time?
I'm not sure.
Does about 4 or 5 months sound accurate?
No, I don't think it was that long. I mean, it may be like 2 or 3, because it was like 2 or 3 bill cycles. But like I said before, I wasn't monitoring that account because there was nothing. The card had a zero balance, and it should have only been like $3,200 charged on there. So I have no reason to follow that card like that, and I didn't.
Okay. Did you ever ask Home Depot to lower the credit limit?
I wouldn't ask them to lower the credit limit.
Okay. Even though Mr. Miller had access to the card and you didn't want him charging anymore, you didn't think that it would be advantageous to ask Home Depot to lower the limit?
I'm not gonna lower my limit. It's more easier for me to get the person off the card or just cancel the card, because that's a business standpoint for me as far as my credit limit and credit rating. So it's not about handling Mr. Miller in that regard. I'm trying to take Mr. Miller at his word at that point in time.
Okay. All right. And what about your other business, Big Biz Properties? Do you have a Home Depot card for that business?
Objection point.
No, I don't have a card for that.
Okay.
Or if it is, it's D. Hawkins. It's Big Biz Property. D. Hawkins Enterprises, DBA. Big Biz Property is the assumed name for the enterprise.
Okay.
So some things are in some things are in the LLC, some things are in the assumed name.
I understand. Okay. And Ms. Miller, I'm sorry, I apologize. Ms. Hawkins, can you tell me if there were any interest charges on the card?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know what the interest amount was?
I think either between 23 and 29%. I'm not sure. There was a courtesy, 0, interest rate, for the card, after the first initial charge, I think. They give you, or they have
Okay.
promotions when you purchase stuff. They'll give you so many months, interest-free or whatever.
Okay. Did you make any payments towards the card prior to the terminating the access from Mr. Miller to make sure that you could take advantage of any of the promos for the the 0 interest or whatever it may be? I don't know what the
I don't really know
promo
what
was.
you're getting. I don't know what you're getting at.
Okay, so don't cut me off maybe and let me finish, and that could be helpful. So, and I will clarify. I know it was a little bit confusing. It was, yeah, so I will clarify for you. Did you take advantage of, excuse me, I'm going to strike that. And as far as the promotions are concerned, do you know the exact promotion that was available at the time Mr. Miller had access to the card?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you only know that there was some promotions available, correct? But not exactly what the promotion was.
When you make a purchase, it'll tell you when the interest incurred will start on it. They'll start announcing it on the statement or whatever the case may be. Or either they show you in the store when you buy a certain amount, buy over $500, deferred interest for 6 months. It just depends on the amount. It's like staggered. So it depends on the amount that you purchase. The amount of the purchase that you use at one time is going to determine how much interest, how long the card is interest free. It depends on the purchase. Every purchase is different. So if it's a less than 500 or something, most of the time, you're gonna start probably incurring interest immediately. But if it's a large purchase, they'll defer the interest for like 6 months, 9 months, sometimes, I don't know about a year, but they have those promotions all throughout Home Depot.
Okay, great. And so do you have access to your statements for each month that Mr. Miller had access to the card?
You've already asked me that question.
Okay, so you can answer it.
I said I did. I didn't look at it. I didn't look at it every month because there's no reason to look at it, so.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, do you have access to them today? I understand access. That question, you had it at the time, but what about today?
I have access. They'll send one out in the mail, or either I can actually go and access it online.
Okay. Have you provided those statements to your attorney?
No, not all those statements.
Okay. So we've asked for them in discovery, and we don't have them, and that will help us to help.
Counsel,
that will help if you could. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Tuna, you were.
We're operating under 199.2B in discovery. So since we got that a week ago, we can provide you with those invoices by September 24th. That gives us the 30 days to provide those invoices if you need them. By the time you gave us the notice, we're just operating under discovery rules. So we can provide you with those invoices and any other things that you need by the next 30 days.
Well, then that's fine, and we can talk about that outside of the deposition, because it does affect the summary judgment. So, did you now? I put my phone away from me. Part of the requirements for the claim that you're bringing against Mr. Miller and his company for breach of contract is that you send over a demand letter in advance of filing the lawsuit. Did you do that in this case?
My counsel, okay, my counsel sent over a demand letter.
Okay. And Mr. Miller has indicated that he is willing to enter into an agreement with you to pay the balance that he's charged on the account in response to your demand. Are you aware of that?
I think you said that in mediation.
Okay.
He agreed to the charges, right? He agreed, well, he made all the charges.
He agreed to pay you for your charges, not any attorney's fees.
Okay. And I don't agree to that.
Okay. And so you understand that you do understand that you had the opportunity to agree to it. And if you're not able to prove that he's breached the contract with you, a contract that you don't have in writing,
objection form,
that you don't have any evidence of when it started or ended, the terms, that you could actually owe him attorney's fees. Are you aware of that?
You told me that in the mediation.
I'm sorry?
You told me that in the mediation.
Okay. All right. So getting back to this, Ms. Hawkins, do you separate your billing from your big biz property and your DHAWKINS Enterprise company?
I don't.
objection form.
Yeah, I don't think I understand what you're asking.
Okay, so I know that I believe that you just stated that big biz property is a DBA under a DHAWKINS Enterprise. Is that, do I have that correct?
Yes, it's a surname.
Okay, and so do you separate your business expenses and expenditures with the two companies, or do they all use the same revenue and account?
Use the same account.
Have you filed taxes for your businesses?
I do taxes every year.
So you have filed taxes for both businesses, is that correct?
I filed taxes for one business, which is up under the enterprise.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Hawkins, do you have any business partners?
Objection form.
I already answered the question, Ms. Lewis.
No, I asked you if you had any other owners with this business. Do you have any other business partners, Ms. Hawkins?
Ms. Lewis, you asked me that earlier, and I explained to you that DPS Properties is the sole proprietor in DHAWKINS Enterprise. I'm the sole member of the LLC.
I understand that. That does not answer my question as to whether you have any other business partners.
No, Ms. Lewis.
Thank you. Ms. Hawkins, You're a nurse by trade, is that correct?
I'm a nurse by profession.
Okay. And you're a registered nurse, is that correct?
Yes, Miss Lewis.
Are you currently working as a nurse?
No, Miss Lewis.
Okay. So let me understand, who exactly, now you're stating you did have a contract with Mr. Miller, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you stating that you had a contract with M&M Construction?
No, ma'am.
What about in your individual capacity?
What do you mean individual capacity?
Meaning Demisha Hawkins versus D. Hawkins Enterprises.
I don't think I understand your question.
Do you, D. Hawkins Enterprises, have a contract with Mr. Miller?
No, ma'am.
Do you, D. Hawkins Enterprise, have a contract with M&M Construction?
No, ma'am.
Does Demisha Hawkins have a contract with Michael Miller?
No, ma'am.
Does Demisha Hawkins have a contract with M&M Construction?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did you do anything after you found out there was a balance owed by Mr. Miller to mitigate your damages?
Please elaborate.
Did you do anything to reduce your amount that you owe, excuse me, the amount that Mr. Miller owed you from increasing? In other words, interest. In other words, not taking advantage of paying before a certain time when a promotion expires. Anything like that. Did you do anything to make sure that the amount that he owed you at the time that you terminated his access did not increase further outside of the pending charges?
I still really don't get your question.
Okay. I'll put it like this. You did not do anything to make sure that the, did you make an objection? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so let me finish my question, please. And I'll pause to let you make your objection. Mr. Hawkins, you didn't do anything to make sure that the payment, or excuse me, the balance that Mr. Miller owed you at the time, notwithstanding any pending charges, did not increase related to any interest that would have accrued or any promotions that you didn't take advantage of. Is that correct?
Objection form.
I really
Isn't that
don't know
true?
where you're, I don't know where you're, okay. I don't really know where you're going with this question. The thing is like there are charges and then there is like delayed interest. So in that moment, the best thing that I did was cancel the card. So the person no longer had access to the card to continue to run it up.
I understand. And as far as what you're stating is delayed access, interest. You didn't pay down the balance, so the delayed interest would not apply. Isn't that true?
Objection point.
At the time that the card got discontinued, I don't think there was any interest on it because it was up under 0 APR for whatever it depends on the purchase, but there, let me clarify this again. I didn't make any of the charges yet. I'm responsible for the charges because it's in my business name and up under my personal name.
Okay. And so, did you pay?
Mr. Miller didn't have $13,000 to cure that debt.
I understand. Did you have $13,000 to cure that debt so that it did not accrue, so the delayed interest would not accrue?
Objection point.
I didn't have that I didn't have that, and if I did, it was mixed up in some type of other business. But that's not my debt. I didn't create that debt. We wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Mr. Miller recklessly using that card.
I understand. The question that I'm asking you is, did you do anything to assure that any delayed interest would not attach to the balance of the 13?
I don't know what I could have done.
I think we got your objection. I want to make sure that we have it, Mr. Kuna, I'm sorry. Are you on a phone also, Mr. Kuna?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because maybe you should like unmute to make your objection over there to make sure we get it.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. I don't see you on the transcript here at all. That's why I'm on the side. It'll say the name of the person, and I don't see you at all. So I don't know if it's capturing your objections, but as long as it does on the video, that's fine. Okay. All right. So just so the record is clear, Ms. Hawkins, at the time that you terminated access to Mr. Miller for as it relates to the use of your card, the balance was roughly between $13,000 and $14,000, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's all you're asking for today, is that correct?
I'm asking for him to pay the balance in full that he owes and the attorney fees.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to go around the attorney's fees. I do have that clear. But as far as any interest on the amount that he charged, you're not asking for that. Is that correct?
No, I'm asking for the interest that occurred because of debt. Had there been no debt, we wouldn't have this interest. Or it wouldn't, that's his interest. He's the one that used the card. It's not my interest.
Okay. But the interest only accrued when the balance was not paid before it accrued. Isn't that true?
So why wasn't it paid?
Objection form. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just asking you what the facts are.
The fact is it has not been paid because the interest accrued, the balance is still outstanding on the account. There's still a balance that Mr. Miller owes, and now there's interest attached to it from Mr. Miller making the purchases.
Okay, but at the time you terminated access of the card, there was no interest that accrued. Is that correct?
I don't think so. I doubt it very seriously.
And it's your testimony that you should not have to pay that interest because it's not your debt. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Objection form. And you testified earlier that you had attended other depositions. In what capacity did you attend other depositions?
Standby.
I'm sorry?
Standby.
Standby.
I stated to you that I was not the actual person being deposed.
Right.
Okay.
What capacity did you participate in a deposition is my question.
And I didn't participate, I stood by.
Objection form. You can answer.
I stood by and watched the person being deposed.
Okay, and were you a legal secretary, a paralegal, a lawyer? Were you a party in the case? Tell me, if you could, in what capacity did you participate in the deposition that you witnessed?
Objection form.
Objection form.
Okay, I did not participate. I stood by while the person was being questioned.
So you were in the actual room while a person was being deposed, is that correct?
I watched the deposition. Let me share this with you to help you out so we don't keep going back to this question. One of my certifications is certified legal nurse consulting.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not doing a deposition. I'm not the attorney.
I understand. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And how long have you been a nurse consultant?
I got my certification years ago. That's not what I'm actively doing, or I don't do it on a full-time basis.
I use them all the time. I'm fully aware, and I don't normally do contract.
Right.
I do medical claims. So that was your only time that you've participated in depositions in that capacity. Is that correct?
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And so, do you have any other certifications?
I have different certifications for different things. I can't recall in which, I don't even know what you're trying to get at, but I have certifications. I have certifications for my license. I have certifications for different jobs I might work at. So.
Okay. Did you purchase Big Biz property from someone else?
No, ma'am.
Was it once Big Biz Transport?
No, ma'am.
So you're not affiliated with Big Biz Transport?
You asked me, was it purchased by Big Biz Transport? I told you no.
I understand. So is it not affiliated with Big Biz Transport, LLC?
No, ma'am.
Objection form.
Okay. Who's Brian Carpenter?
I don't know who that is.
Does he know who you are?
Objection form.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. So your testimony is he would say the same, correct?
Objection form.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. Ms. Hawkins, did you get a paycheck protection loan from the business, from the Small Business Administration during the pandemic for DHAWKINS Enterprises?
Objection form. And counsel, when you have a minute, can we get a break whenever you can find a stopping point?
Sure.
Thank you.
No, ma'am.
What about a loan? Did you get a disaster loan from the Small Business Administration?
Objection form.
I got an EIDL for my business.
Okay, and was that business DHAWKINS Enterprises?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was the reason that you gave for the need for that loan?
Objection form.
The reason for the need is because I have rental properties and the tenants are not paying their rent.
Okay. And so the reason why you got it was because the tenants were not paying their rent, is that correct?
I got the loan because the business has properties and they're being affected by the pandemic.
Okay, so tell me what was the reason why you requested the pandemic loan? We'll just say any funds under the pandemic relief, whether it be a grant, loan, what have you. Tell me the reason why you indicated that you needed the funding for your business.
Objection form.
Because my business has been affected by the pandemic.
Okay. How was your business affected by the pandemic?
My business is being affected because the finances have decreased due to the pandemic and those tenants being affected or other things. I have financial responsibilities, which also includes that business credit card and other business responsibilities. And my business has been drastically affected by COVID-19.
Okay. Did you apply for rent assistance through any county program, as far as from a landlord's perspective?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Did you make yourself available as a landlord to participate in the rent assistance from any government entity, whether it be city, county, or federal?
I have applied.
I'm sorry?
I have applied.
Okay. And were you approved or were you qualified and granted relief through the program, any program?
Waiting.
Okay.
Counsel, can we get that stopping point?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, we can take a break right now.
Okay, the time is 2:56. We're not off the record. All right, the time is 3:07. We're back on the record.
Okay. All right, Ms. Hawkins, we left off discussing the pandemic relief funding and what you applied for. Did you apply for the funding in the name of DHAWKINS Enterprise or another business?
DHAWKINS Enterprise.
Okay, Did you apply with your other business as well?
Objection form.
No,
Okay. So the only funding you received was through DHAWKINS. Is that correct?
yes,
How much did you receive?
Objection form.
I think 18,000.
Are you required to pay the 18,000 back?
Yes, ma'am.
So it was a loan, is that correct?
Said EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan.
Okay. And what are your terms on the loan? When do you have to start paying it back?
I think everything is deferred until next year.
Okay. Did you apply for forgiveness?
There's no forgiveness with the loan, the grant, or the payroll protection program loan, the PPP.
To your understanding, correct?
No, it's not. It's not my understanding.
Okay. So anybody that's gotten any forgiveness of that, is it because of the type of business you have?
No, it has nothing to do with that. They're different type of loans. I mean, there's a different type of loan. EIDL, that's a loan that you have to repay. The payroll forgiveness program or the payroll protection program, that's a forgiveness loan. If you qualify for it, it still doesn't mean it's automatically forgiven.
Okay. Okay. So in other words, you haven't applied for forgiveness, and you don't think that you're eligible for forgiveness based on the loan that you have. Is that correct?
That's not
Objection
correct.
form.
That's not correct, Ms. Lewis. I've already clarified what it is.
No, I don't understand. That's why I'm asking, because
I
I just want to know your
You
understanding.
might need to read up on it.
I'm not asking you to educate me. I'm just asking if it's your understanding based on the type of loan that you have, that you do not qualify for forgiveness. Is that correct?
It is not a forgiveness loan, Ms. Lewis.
I didn't ask you that. And I'm not asking
What are
you to
you
educate
asking me?
either.
Because
I'm asking you, listen to the question. It's going to be a yes or no answer. If you listen, I'm not asking for education. I'm just asking you a simple question. And the question I'm asking you is whether it is your understanding that the type of loan that you have does not qualify for forgiveness. Yes or no?
It's not a forgiveness loan. No, it's not a forgiveness loan.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hawkins.
You're welcome, Ms. Lewis.
Okay. Although you only received the EIDL loan, can you tell me whether you applied for any other grants or loans?
I've applied for numerous grants.
Okay, as it relates to the pandemic relief.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you tell me which relief programs you've applied for?
It's not a relief program. There are different grants on the internet that they offer for business. I've applied for them.
Okay, and I'm asking specifically for relief grants.
Objection form.
They're COVID relief programs. They're helping. They're for businesses that are in duress during this time. They're grants, all different kind of stuff. You still have to go through a process. You have to be chosen.
I understand. And so I guess my question is just, really simple as to which have you applied for?
I can't recall how many. There are different ones. Whatever my business falls in line with, and I feel like I can apply for it, I'll apply for it.
Okay, but to date you've only been granted the EIDL loan. That's it, correct?
Objection form. Sorry, answer this question.
Do you have any
Okay.
pending now?
There's you asked me about the small business. That's it. I mean, I've applied for other grants. I have not gotten chosen.
Okay, so Ms.
I have not
Hawkins,
gotten chosen.
Ms. Hawkins, every question is independent, okay? So you can't go back and say that you only asked about SBA. I've asked you a question right now. And the question I'm asking you right now is whether you have applied for other relief, loans, or grants. I didn't qualify it with the SBA, okay? I understand that might have been confusing. I'm sorry for that. I get it. I totally understand that it seems as though I was limiting it to the SBA. I'm not for this question, okay? So I'm just asking now with this question, were there any other loans or grants pursuant to the pandemic relief that you have applied for?
I have applied.
And, okay, you've applied. Do you remember which loans or grants that you've applied for?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. And based on your testimony, it's my understanding that you just try to see what you could qualify for, just to kind of put your net out there. And if it works and you're eligible, you're going to seek it. Is that correct?
Objection form?
No.
Okay. So can you tell me what I'm incorrect about?
What I'm stating is it has to be applicable to me. It has to be something that I feel like that I can actually apply for and get. Otherwise, it's a waste of my time to apply.
I understand, and that's what I do. That's what I believe that you were saying. So I think we're on the same page as far as that particular question. Now, moving forward, from what you've determined that you may qualify for possibly, have you been granted any approvals for any of the programs that you have applied for other than the EIDL loan?
No.
Okay. Are there any pending?
There are pending. I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't know unless I got notified. I've applied,
Okay.
and they tell you that too late. So.
Okay. So in other words, I guess I should ask it this way: have you been denied for any of the loans besides the EIDL loan? And I'm not saying you got denied the EIDL loan. Uh-huh.
There's not a loan that I applied for.
Okay. Have you been denied for any application that you've applied, that you've submitted for funding under any of the relief programs?
I just didn't hear back. So I'm sure that I didn't
Okay.
get picked, or either I didn't get picked.
That's fine. Okay, and I'm done with that line of questioning. All right, and do you have any actual business cards that you use for your business?
I have quite a few business cards.
Okay. Do you have any with you here today?
No.
Okay. What does your business card say?
The business card is dependent on when I applied. So it's either going to have Big Biz Properties, or it's going to have the Hawkins Enterprises on it.
Okay. So you have, correct me if I'm wrong, so you have one card with both businesses on there, or do you have two different cards with each business on either card? Is it?
No, it's going to have the assumed name or the LLC. It's not gonna have both.
Okay. So just to be clear, the business cards that you've already had generated and made, what do those cards say on them?
Say that again?
The business cards that you've already had made, that are already done, that you've already picked up from the printer or you made yourself, or however you have them generated, what do those cards say?
Oh, you're saying a business card? No, I don't have a business card. Sorry. No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. All right. And when you applied for the business card with Home Depot, I know I talked about how you went about getting your business increase. How did you go about actually applying for that card and getting approval? Was that online or was it on the phone, in person? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I applied online.
Okay. And so you received your card in the mail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there any is Mr. Miller's business connected to that card in any way?
Objection form?
M&M Construction?
No.
Okay. Not so there's no indication whatsoever with the business Home Depot card for D. Hawkins that M&M Construction is connected as it relates to any type of rewards program in any way. Is that your testimony?
I have no knowledge of it. It wouldn't be. I think I think when he was utilizing it, he put his card on there, something about him when he does his purchases, but that has nothing to do with me. That's not something I did.
Okay. So if it's on there, something that Mr. Miller did, correct?
It's not on my card. It's not gonna be, let me clarify this for the record. It's not gonna be on my statement anywhere. There's no M&M construction services on my business credit card. I have nothing to do with M&M construction services when it involves any type of business or services as far as that card is concerned. That card is totally separately tied to Big Biz Properties or D. Hawkins Enterprises.
Okay. Do you know whether Home Depot has an awards program, a rewards program? I'm sorry.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I'm sure.
And do you have a rewards membership with them, which is, I'm saying it's separate than the business card? Do you have a rewards account with them where, you spend a certain amount and you get a discount or what have you?
I'm sure it's I don't know. I mean, because I get promotions from Home Depot in emails and stuff like that, or they mail out stuff, but I'm not, it doesn't state per se rewards, but I'm kind of familiar with it, but I don't, I don't work that rewards program like that. I run off my business card and that's it.
Okay. And how much, so you don't spend a lot of money at Home Depot, is that correct?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Okay. And that's one of those times that I'm happy for you to correct me. I'm just asking the question. If it's correct, yes. If not, then no, and you can correct me. And I just want the facts to come out here. So what you spend at Home Depot is through your personal card, however, is that true?
No, that's not totally
Okay.
true.
You spend cash?
No, ma'am, I have more than one card. I have
Okay.
cards. I don't have a Home Depot card, but I have other cards with limits on them.
Right. Okay. And so it's your testimony that you have, instead of using your Home Depot card at Home Depot, you've elected to use one of your other many cards. Is that correct?
I utilize another card or cash, or I may use my business account per se.
Okay. And Ms. Hawkins, can you tell me whether you had a business agreement with Mr. Miller at all at any time?
Objection form.
Please elaborate, because I'm not really getting the gist of your question.
Sure. Did you, in your individual personal capacity, have a business relationship at all with Mr. Miller or his business, M&M Construction? A business relationship?
Objection form.
No.
Okay. And what about DHAWKINS Enterprises? Did DHAWKINS Enterprises have a business relationship with Mr. Miller in his individual capacity or his business at any time?
Objection form.
I don't think I'm understanding your question.
Okay, do you, so you are a smart woman, correct? You have a bachelor's degree at minimum, correct?
Objection form.
I have more than one bachelor's degree.
Okay, great. So I know you're smart. And I'm just going to take this step by step. Okay. And so do you know what I mean when I say business relationship?
I'm trying to get where you're trying to go with this, because there are multiple things that I've spoken with Mr. Miller about, or we've done things with. So if you call it, it wasn't labeled as business, or if it was, there was never a contract written for it. It was verbal, or it was exchanged.
Okay. All right. So just to be clear, as far as you're concerned, there was not a business relationship with Mr. Miller or his company and you or your company. Is that correct?
I can't, yeah. I can't say, I don't really know what you're getting at. We were trying to establish business as far as money exchange, doing projects together. But it never came to fruition. It never came to fruition.
Were you dating Mr. Miller?
No, ma'am.
So you've never had any type of dating relationship with Mr. Miller, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you didn't have a business relationship with him and you didn't have a dating relationship with him. Did you have a close friendship with him?
I didn't say, I mean, I can't really even categorize it.
Okay.
Associate.
You're not related to him? You're not related to him, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What were your plans as far as business is concerned? You said that did not come into fruition.
just doing business with Mr. Miller on another level. It never came to fruition because of what we've encountered now and why we're here now.
Okay. And when you say just going to business on another level, what does that mean? Is that related to the construction business?
Partnerships on different jobs.
Okay. And I still am not clear when you say jobs in partnership, what you mean. I don't know if that's, you know, a law partnership. I don't know if that's a nursing partnership. Can you please clarify what you mean, jobs or business on a different level?
I think in regards to Mr. Miller and I, it was like in relation to construction.
Okay.
Renovations, jobs like that.
And you have to understand, this is for the jury to understand, and they don't, I know the background, you know the background, they don't. So this is just for their clarification, the jury's clarification. Okay. Do you remember the date that you actually decided to terminate Mr. Miller's access to the business card?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm almost finished, so give me just a moment. What was your understanding about what the goals were for this business venture that you were contemplating with Mr. Miller on that never came into fruition?
Can you reword that question?
Sure. I want to know if you could just explain to the jury what was your, I guess, ambition and goals into entering into a business relationship with Mr. Miller in the future that you were contemplating that never actually manifest and came into fruition, to use your words?
Mm-hmm. I think we discussed doing business together and doing business ventures together as far as construction is concerned.
Okay. And do you actually perform construction? Like, are you just like a business manager?
I probably subcontract out all my work.
Okay. So were you looking to enter into a business relationship to have Mr. Miller do work for while you handled other aspects of the venture?
I'm not going to be working out at the job, but I think it was more like a joint, like I said, it would be a joint partnership as far as me bringing the gentleman that I work with to the table along with who Mr. Miller works with. And we would, in essence, take on different projects at a more like state level.
Okay. So kind of like do contract bidding or something to that nature, and then use your resources and he uses resources to actually fulfill the contract. Is that accurate?
I mean, it's not just contract bidding. It's just basically seeking out different business opportunities through the state level and in city.
Okay. And with your participation in bringing the gentleman you work with and into the table, was that all that? Would that be the only way that you would contribute to this venture?
I'm not going to be doing the work.
Okay. What about, I guess I'm not clear on your value, as far as, and I'm not trying to minimize you. I'm not, please don't get me wrong. I would just think there would be something more that you could offer besides bringing a gentleman to the table. Is there anything more? Like, were you going to invest?
That's plenty.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's going to be a financial investment. I'm going to bring the financial funds that I need to invest, and then there's going to be
okay. Okay, so now you see where I'm saying. I knew it was more than just a gentleman to the table. Okay, and that does add value for sure. That adds your value for sure to any venture, I would say. Now, what I want to do is just take a moment to go over my notes to make sure that I have what I need. I think I'm about finished. I just want to review my notes for just a moment. So if we can go off the record for maybe about 5 minutes, I just want to go over my notes, make sure I hit all my notes to make sure that I did everything that I intended to do or ask you about today. So if you give me just that time, we may be finished. I think I have. Is that okay, Ms. Acuna?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, the time is 3:34. We're now off the record. The time is 3:45. We're back on the record.
Okay. Ms. Hawkins, did you understand all the questions that I asked of you today?
Ms. Lewis, I don't think I understood everything, but I answered to the best of my ability. What I understood.
Is there anything that you want to clarify that you've responded to in this deposition that may have not been clear as far as your response?
Not sure.
Okay. And what do you mean you're not sure? Can you think of anything that you want to clarify?
Anything. We've been asked a lot of questions, but I said I answered to the best of my ability. So what I'm stating is like to the best of my ability and my knowledge, I answered that question to the best of my ability and knowledge.
Okay. And finally, did you answer the questions to the best of your ability to be truthful?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pass the witness in that case.
We don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, the time is 3:47. We're now off the record.
Thank you.